Boo hoo hoo, everyone. The internet hates Prometheus. No one understands this movie. It's something a lot more. This movie has resonated, this movie has survived, and this movie is still watched and appreciated to this day. In 2012, this blew the collective mind because it wasn't a prequel to Alien, and the world had to get over that. Well, we're over it here on the AKAPAD, the Film Buff podcast. We're talking everything Alien until the release of Alien Romulus. So let's go. Let's talk about this movie. I am pumped. I am excited. All systems are go.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
I remember seeing this movie the night it dropped in New Jersey in a insanely crowded theater. There was absolute excitement. There was a anticipation in the air. I would compare it to Star Wars Force Awakens, Avengers Infinity War. It was in the air. It was there. You could slice it with a knife. Prometheus 2012 is viewed. We watch it, right? We sit down, we have our popcorn, and then everyone leaves the theater angry. We're in the age of the internet, and here we go. Prometheus is now misunderstood forever because of the initial audience reaction. And people just flat out playing dumb when they discuss this movie. They will just pretend they can't make leaps. You just can't have fun, and it needs to be perfect. Well, guess what? We don't live in a perfect world. I'm a person that can walk through a museum, and I see a lot of errors in painting, proportions, technique. Hell, even the way how some museums are lit. I was just at the Philly Museum and in the modern art section, and I hated the way it was lit. Right? Like, nothing's perfect, and Prometheus is not perfect. It costs $130 million. It makes $400 million. And then there's an age of YouTubers that legit created their career. They made their career over explaining and coming up with theories around Prometheus. Just trying to get people to understand the movie. And along the way, we got more and more people tolerant to Prometheus. A lot of these Alien franchise episodes, not going to be so much around the plot. It's really these other experiences around the movies, because each one has a different lore about it. But Prometheus picks up this tease from the original 1979 Alien, also directed by Ridley Scott. It's an idea called the space jockey. If you want a more explanation of the time to what the space jockeys were, you can go to Dark Horse Comics and get the early Alien comic books. They used to be up there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can still get them. They're plenty affordable. But that's called canon, right? So it's canon until someone picks it up, makes a movie, and they can kind of honor the canon, like kind of what came before, or they say that doesn't take place here. And that's common with a lot of these Hollywood guys. Like George Lucas had a different canon for Star Wars than the rest of Lucasfilm, even though Lucasfilm did everything it could to make a lot of the characters and situations butt up around, at the time, episodes 1 through 6. There was a lot of effort for that. But Ridley Scott says, look, the space jockey scene where we discover the alien eggs, where the alien space hugger, the egg opens up, it infects, who's it? William Hurt. Is it William Hurt? I forget. But yeah, and then we go off to the spaceship, and Chestburster comes out. They hunted Chestburster, no luck. Chestburster forms into a giant xenomorph alien, black, slimy, acid blood, and just kills the whole crew. That's the original Alien. But there's so many of these ideas that went back to the space jockey. So Prometheus it looked like Prometheus was going to answer those questions, and Prometheus was in some way going to butt up against the original Alien, very much like how Star Wars Rogue One butts up against Star Wars Episode 4. It's not the case. We're kind of dealing with different planets. We're dealing with a bigger satellite with moons, and there's 2 separate moons. And this movie further confuses things with the follow-up, Alien Covenant. But the internet just goes crazy. Like, they hate that these connections don't exactly line up. They hate that there's a biology in this movie that kind of explains space huggers or face huggers and the xenomorph. We see, I think it's called a protomorph. They called it at one point. And then it's all of this mumbo jumbo with what they call the space jockeys or the creators, the engineers, the idea that these are the beings that create humanity. And then there's comments made by Ridley Scott and Damien Landoff, the guy from Lost, and he really tarnished his name with this, because they're like, the guy from Lost is writing the prequel to Alien. This is going to be amazing. And this is after no one was happy with season 6 of Lost. So we don't get answers. And everything in the movie, just from the audience perspective, doesn't make any sense. And this is what I mean about playing stupid. For some reason, there's a fandom that wants these things so hard, and they love it so much, and they've spent so much time imagining and reading fan fiction and reading the comic books, and they're the first in line to even get the novels, and they read the novelizations of these screenplays. They love it. And these are also the people that the internet's built for. And a lot of times these are the loudest voices. Some of these accounts are relentless. They tweet all day, they Facebook all day, and I'm talking they have hundreds of thousands of posts. The activity alone is head spinning. You think they're computers, but they're not. If you ever meet them in person, you're like, holy crap. But like, your first question is, how do you get the time for 500,000 tweets? Where's that time come from? I think I'm at 22K, and I've been on Twitter almost since its inception. So, and then here we are. Let's be adults. Let's sit down and watch Prometheus. I absolutely adore and admire and love this movie. I like that it takes itself seriously. I like that the engineers are set up to be humanity's creators, but they're maybe not. They're maybe humanity's destructors. They're an angry alien race, and they potentially made a weapon, and the humans in the movie potentially find a facility for that weapon. And we don't know anything that they're doing. We still know far less. And we don't even know if it's connected to the original Alien by the time we're done watching this movie. And then along the way, we have Naomi Rapace. She's our girl. She's our, like, Ripley, because we need a Ripley in all of these movies. She's awesome. She's amazing. She's hot. Her husband, the love of her life, dies in front of her. He has a horrific death. We have David, played by Michael Fassbender. The best android in all of these movies. This is somewhat of a trope now. We have androids. We have humans that are now robots, right? They're not really humans, but they're always set up to be humans. He is one of the most complex characters in all of these movies. And we get so much of him in Alien Covenant, one of the reasons why, you guessed it, I love Alien Covenant. We have Guy Pearce playing Wayland. This is the logo we've been seeing in alien history. Now we can put a face to it. We can actually put a personality and a purpose. He's trying to prolong his life, and he needs help from the engineers if they can help him. And they are insulted by the idea. The way that the engineers act in this movie is exactly how you would anticipate a higher being, a higher understanding, a higher consciousness acting and looking down on the people seeking it out. We have Idris Elba. His arc's amazing. He gets to bang Charlize Theron. We have Charlize Theron as Wayland's daughter. She has a unceremoniously death. She gets crushed at the end. But this movie's there, and this movie is so much like AVP. We have prospectors. We have people on the mission, and they're all certain personality types with skill sets. You can interswap the crews of both of this movie and AVP, and it wouldn't even matter. And I like those clashing personalities. And there's a biology to this movie, and there's a flow, there's an understanding, and it's still mysterious. And I get it. It's hard to watch this movie completely blank, because you go into this movie and you love Alien, you love Aliens, and you hate Alien 3, and you and you hate Alien Resurrection, and you hate AVP, and you hate AVP Requiem. You hate, but you're there. It's 2012. You're ready to relove the franchise, and you just need something absolutely perfect to lay it all out for you. And then you're angry when it doesn't. This movie adds more mystery to all of it. And then it gets to the idea. Like, we're watching a movie. We're watching a movie. Let's be entertained. Let's have a good time. Let's look at the amazing design work. Let's listen to the music. Mark Stretzenfield, his last name is about 22 letters. Cinematography, Dushwitz Wolski. This movie is one of the most beautiful movies, science fiction wise, you can ever look at. This movie's dark. This movie uses highlights and halos underneath the jawline to light the face from below. This movie has fantastic creature design. This movie has incredible industrial design. This movie is there in front of your face to entertain you. And you leave it with a true sense of mystery, with a true sense of how dangerous the stars and the universe is, how dangerous the wilderness is. And there's still like hope. There's a little bit of hope at the end. But we're watching horror. We're watching a horror movie. And that gets lost. That gets escaped. And along the way, this movie has been, like, there's been people that translated some of the alien languages. They have brought cut scenes into this movie. They introduce commentary from around the movie into the movie to help explain it. They want to explain. People are fascinated with explanations around this movie. If you look at this movie as a horror mystery, and then you go watch Alien as a horror mystery, meaning we're kind of trying to figure some things out along the way, and this is exactly what we want in a horror movie. In the mind's eye, they're glorious. They're fantastic to watch. And guess what? Here we go. This movie decanons the gestation period that we think that we know from the original Alien movie. So there, it's it. Every single one of these movies has a quick gestation period, but Alien's the outlier. Get over that. That talking point still comes up because people like to act surprised. And like I said, they act silly. They act a little bit dumb and naive. Oh, well, what about the time that the alien was inside the body for that first movie? Okay, guys, we have to move on from that. James Cameron decanonized that with cutscenes that are somewhat more widely accepted than the original cut of the movie, But the journey of Newt's family and their gestation period is equal to anything you will see in this movie and any other Alien or Alien vs. Predator flick. So let that be said, aka Padders. This movie's great to watch. This is another movie. A lot of times I just had it running with no sound and people just start staring at it and they're like, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's Prometheus. What's it about? It's about, like, I don't know, man. Like, it's a deep science fiction movie. There's a lot happening. You kind of have to take it in, but it's essentially monsters stalking humans, and the humans are not where they're supposed to be, and everything's dark, and we're in the future, and it's science. So let's go. That's really what this movie is. It's not an alien movie. We're watching entertainment. So, guys, coming up, we will discuss Alien Covenant, which is there's a book connected to that movie, made from the movie, and I want to talk about the Alien Covenant book. We'll talk about that next Alien episode installment. I believe some of these episodes might run once a week, or every day or every other day leading into the release of Alien Romulus. But there's just a great discussion point that I see a lot of people ignore. Alien Covenant, in my view, too, works perfectly with this flick. So next episode, we're going to get into it.
Okay,
Thank you.
That's a wrap.
Rock and roll. Have a good day.